Today we're going to look at solving multi-step inequalities, putting everything we know about equations and inequalities all together. So the first thing we're going to do is on this one, 3 is less than negative 5n plus 2n. We can see that these two are like terms and they're on the same side of the equal sign. So negative 5n plus 2n is going to be negative 3n. Bring down everything else. So 3 is less than negative 3n. Now, how do I undo multiplying? How do you undo negative 3 times n? You're going to divide by negative 3. Now, you need to keep in mind, when you are dividing by a negative number, you have to do something special to this sign. Before I do anything with my numbers, I know I divided by a negative, I flip my sign. These two cancel out, and I'm left with n. 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. So negative 1 is greater than n. On our second example, 6x plus 2 plus 6x is greater than or equal to 14. Before we do anything, if you have like terms, go ahead and combine them. They're on the same side, so 6x plus 6x is 12x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 14. Now, this is just like a two-step equation. Remember, we circled our couple to help us know what to leave still. The opposite of adding 2 or plus 2 is minus 2. When you subtract 2, you subtract it on both sides. So I have 12x is greater than or equal to 14 minus 2 is 12. Now, right here, this is 12 times x. How do you undo multiplying? We're going to divide by 12 on both sides. We're dividing by a positive number, so everything stays the same. So x is greater than or equal to 1. We have two more examples that we'll look at together. On this one has a lot going on. Before I do anything, I need to distribute the negative 6. So I distribute it to 4x. I distribute it to 6. Negative 6 times 4x. Negative 6 times 6. This minus 3 out front, that negative 3, we're going to write it down because we're not going to touch it yet. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24x. Negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. And then I have greater than or equal to negative 111. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, do I have any like terms? Well, yeah, I have negative 3 and I have negative 36. I can go ahead and put those two things together. So negative 3 minus 36 more is going to give me negative 39. I'll go ahead and bring down negative 24x is greater than or equal to negative 111. Now, the next thing I do, I'm down to a two-step equation. So what we're going to do is we are going to circle our couple. That's our negative 24x. How do you undo minus 39? You're going to add 39 to both sides. Negative 111 plus 39 will give you negative 72. These cancel out. So negative 24x is greater than or equal to negative 72. So at this point, we have negative 24 times x. How do you undo multiplying? You will divide negative 24, negative 24. Remember, when you divide by a negative, you have to do something funky with your sign. You got to flip it the other way. So x is less than or equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 72 divided by 24 is 3. So x is less than or equal to positive 3. All right, on our last example, there's a lot going on. We have p's on both sides this time. We have distributive property. So we're going to start by distributing that 3. 3 times p and 3 times negative 3. So when I rewrite it, I have 3p minus 9 minus 5p is greater than negative 3p minus 6. before we even look to see that we have p's on both sides, we're going to go ahead and do 3p minus 5p. So I have negative 2p minus 9 is greater than negative 3p minus 6. Now, at this point, we can take and get our variables on the same side. I've told you multiple times, I'm always going to move the one that's smaller. Between negative 2 and negative 3 is smaller. So how do you undo negative 3p? You're going to add 3p. So we add 3p to both sides. They cancel out. Negative 2 plus 3 would give me 1p. Bring down everything else. Minus 9 is greater than negative 6. Now we're at a two-step equation. Circle your couple. How do you kick out minus 9? Or what's the opposite of negative 9? We'll be adding 9, so we add 9. If you add 9, you add it to both sides. So we're left with 1p is greater than negative 6 plus 9 is going to give you positive 3. To undo 1 times p, we're going to divide by 1 on both sides. And p is greater than 3. Slide that up for just a second. Now, your assignment for today is a little tricky on how you'll submit it. So I'm going to walk through one problem on Delta Math. So here's my inequality. 4x minus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 28. First thing I'm going to do is that's a two-step equation. So I'm going to circle my 4x. How do you undo minus 4? You're going to add 4. Sorry, this looks a little crazy for y'all. So we have 4x is greater than or equal to negative 28 plus 4 is going to give me negative 24. Now, how do you undo 4 times x? We'll divide by 4 on both sides. And we're going to be left with x is greater than or equal to a negative divided by a positive is a negative 24 divided by 4 is going to give me 6. So my answer is x is greater than or equal to negative 6. So right here, oh goodness, I've got my little toolbar away. So when I type in my answer, you're going to put x is greater than or equal to negative 6 right here. So I would just write my answer right here in this box. Here's all your inequality signs. Now, to do your answer, since I am on the pen and forgot to click back to the arrow, we're just going to make it work. Since it is greater than or equal to, it is a closed-in circle. So you'll go to negative 6. From here, it says click and drag to plot your line. Well, which numbers are bigger than negative 6? Well, that's all the ones to the right. So you'll drag your line to the right, and it'll draw the line for you. And once you submit, it will tell you that you're correct. If you have any questions while you're working on this assignment, send me an email, and I can walk you through another problem.